Hey all, Chris Parry from EQUITY.GURU with today's 3-minute hit. I apologize for my large hair, but I am old and have a lot of hair, and so I'm going to wear it with pride. Today I'm going to talk about Amped Ventures. I just got back from an afternoon at the Departure Lounge, which is a subsidiary of Amped. You may know that if you've been watching that story, as being a project to build the largest volumetric capture studio in the world. Well, they've built it. It's a real thing now. I was down there and there were people from production houses. There were, as an actor down there doing demo reels. They've got producers, VFX people. They are located smack dab in the midst of 5 different universities, design/VFX houses, right? So if they kick the door open and throw a pizza on the ground like locusts, you've got 20 or so students that will roll into the door and say, "What do you need, Pop?" Which is great because these guys are all working on VFX. They're working on VR, AR. They're working on volumetric capture, which is where you have 400 cameras around you in a circle, taking imagery of an individual from all angles, which is then stitched together and put into a software so that you could put on VR glasses and literally move around the person being filmed, right? If you had a band playing a music video, you could literally position yourself anywhere you want within that music video. It's a very interesting, very new form of media production technology. And Amped is not just a part of it. They're not just going and taking some software off the shelf and utilizing it. They've literally created the world's largest facility to do this. This is a $15 million company or $12 million company, depending on the day, by market cap. And they have the largest volumetric capture studio in the world. Finished, done, operating, doing camera tests right now as I speak. While I was there, I saw Lachlan Munro, who is famous, maybe infamous, for having once been involved with another AR company that was a pubco in this city, and that was Imagination Park, now Imagine AR, back in the day when they were trying to sell themselves as being a new movie production house that was going to do funky deals with producers to give them their production fee up front and take a piece off the back. And I pulled that thing to shreds, right? I desecrated it. I tore it up, put it in a bin, set it on fire, peed on it, and then buried it under 20 feet of shit, right? That was how bad that company was and is. And back in the day, Lachlan Munro was a Hollywood actor who they brought in and said, "Look, we have a Hollywood actor here. We're legitimate." And so I gave Lachlan Munro his slaps on the face back then as well, because, hey, it was a bad deal and anyone involved was going to take some of the fire. So fast forward 5 years, and here we are at Amped Studios, an actual studio, right, which is something that Imagine AR never had and never will. But an actual studio, the world's largest volumetric capture studio. I'm standing in it. I see hundreds of cameras. I see all these VFX students that are basically walking down the hall from where they are studying and doing real world work in Amped's facility. Like, pretty great. I got to say, it was impressive to see. It was impressive to watch someone performing against a green screen, knowing that the green screen was going to be replaced with VFX later on, but being able to make a lot more things happen, right? So you stand at green screen, I'm going to put a backdrop, I'm going to be standing in the desert, and there's my desert backdrop, and that's great. 3 months after I filmed this thing, we'll put the desert in and we hope that we can get it right and we didn't miss anything. With the AMP technology, the VFX person can be sitting right there using the Unity game engine and creating things on the fly. So, hey, we want that actor to do a Marvel punch of the ground. We can literally shake the set as he does it. We can make cracks erupt in the floor as he does it. We can change the backdrop. We can move him around. This thing is capturing him from every angle. So if you decide that you need to fling him in the air, you can show all the angles as he goes up, right? You don't have to use one camera and move around him. You've got 100 cameras around him, and all you're doing is moving the software in the space. This is pretty crazy great technology, and it's brand new stuff. Now, a lot of companies will go out into the VFX space, into the VR, AR space, even the metaverse space, right? They go out there and they say, we are going to do this thing and it's going to be great. Cool. Okay. How long is that going to take you? Oh, it's going to take us a year and a half, 2 years, tops. And we might have to raise $40 million. Well, here's Amped. They've actually launched this thing. It exists. You can go down there and you can see it. You can step inside it. You can use it on your feature film production. How do we know that this is the case? Well, they just announced that Tippett Studios, which has been providing VFX for Disney, Marvel, The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, like a whole series of animated features. Like Tippett's are for real, right? This is a real production house that does Marvel Universe work. It does Star Wars work. Like, this isn't a couple of guys that I know the CEO's buddies with that'll say, sure, put our name in a news release. This is a legit big company doing big work on the Amped soundstage, right? This is a qualifying transaction mentally for me with Amped. Amped has long been, we're going to do this big thing, and it's tough to explain, but trust us, it'll be there. And now Amped is at that place where it's actually saying, so have you met our friends from Star Wars, right? Have you met our buddies here who have decided they're going to do their work with us? They're going to do their high performance computing with us. They're going to do our virtual film production with us. They're going to use our sound. This is a big qualifying deal that takes Amped away from a little idea that wants to be big and places it firmly in the middle of all the big boys. This is what makes Amped. The game has changed today. The game has changed with this deal. Now, when the deal announced, it went up 20%. Hey, I realize this is more than a 3-minute hit. It always is. I can't tell the time. Just go with me. Okay, so they put out a news release that said they're dealing with Tippett. Stock price went up 20%, and then the next day it went down 10%. Why? Because there's not enough eyeballs on this deal yet, but there will be. For a long time, it was like, look, we're doing deals with people. It's going to take a long time to get those deals approved over the line. But when we do, we're going to come out and we're going to tell people. So there's been that long a time where they've been going through that process of qualifying with these big boys that people have just taken their eye off the ball, right? No one looks at Amped and thinks this is a big thing. They looked at Amped and they say, well, the last financials, revenues are up 50%. That's great, but they weren't that high to begin with. What do you want to do, man? These guys are building something for the metaverse. Facebook/Meta spends $10 billion and has built nothing. Amped has spent maybe $1.5 million and has built something. The world's biggest something. Like, this is a big deal for me. I've had a piece of this company for years. I helped them come public. I walked them around the street looking to bring in early stage investors. I have belief and trust in this company, and I am just bursting at the seams that they are finally laying out their promise in a really big way, and to be able to actually walk into the room and see it in operation and see this guy Lachlan Monroe, who clearly over the years has been looking to be part of the next big thing technology and content wise in Vancouver. He's put a lot of faith in the wrong guys. Now he's putting faith in Amped. I feel like he's learned some lessons. I feel like Amped has learned some lessons. Maybe investors have learned some lessons. But when you talk to any of these groups and see what they're actually doing right now, they are so jacked about the possibilities that are going to come forth in the next 6 months. To me, to be able to get into Amped at 13 cents today, it's just a gift. So I've already got a bunch of it, but I'm looking around to see how much floating cash I've got around where I can get more, because to average down to 12 cents today before this thing goes hippity hop, I think is a real opportunity. Now, I also know a bit of stuff inside of Amped, so I got to be really careful about when I can buy in, which has stopped me from buying in for the last few months. I knew that a lot of this stuff was coming, and so I was kind of hamstrung. But boy, oh boy, I can't wait for the next few news releases so that I can be unleashed and get back into this stock, because it is so damn cheap. And I honestly believe that in 2-3 years, it's going to be an absolute rocket. All the things that Imagination Park and Imagine AR did wrong are the things that Amped is now doing right. And the fact that a guy that I once spoke shit about because he was attached to the wrong deal is now sitting there in the Amped studios and acting within their facility and doing their camera demos and trying to find it, like figure out how far can we take this thing in ways that it's never been taken before. I'm really happy that that guy has managed to stick with this long enough to find his way to the guys that are for real. Everything I ever said about Imagination Park, Imagine AR was right. Everything I ever said played out exactly as I said it was going to play out. And everything I've ever said about Amped is likewise playing out the way I said it was going to play out, except it's not yet seen by enough retail investor base. Hopefully we can change that in the next month, because it is green light time. I realize that's not 3 minutes. If you only came on because you thought you'd be out of here within 3 minutes, I apologize. What do you want me to do? I just have a lot to say sometimes. But hey, if you want to hit the subscribe button, that wouldn't suck.